This new, incredibly forgiving golf club from Ping could be the answer to all of your prayers, or it could just be a very expensive mistake. Hi everyone, my name is James and welcome back to this YouTube channel. Guys, first things first, if you're new here, welcome. Make sure you do consider hitting that subscribe button. If you're not new here, thank you ever so much for putting up with me on a daily basis. But today, I have a club which is 34 degrees of loft. It's a 7 hybrid, and it's the Ping G440 hybrid. Now, when I tested the standard Ping G440 hybrid, the 2-iron equivalent, I loved it. I think Ping are smashing it out of the park this year when it comes to the fairway woods, when it comes to the drivers, and of course when it comes to the hybrid. I said to the guys at Ping, please can I try the 7 hybrid, because I believe that's a club that could help so many golfers around the world in situations like this, just, you don't even need to get a good strike on it. And of course, in situations where maybe you're not feeling your A game. So today we're going to test it out on the golf course. We're also going to test it inside against last year's model and see if potentially this is a club where you could skip a generation and just go and get the G430 and save yourself a bit of money, because do you know how much this is, Bob?
How much?
How much would you think this is?
150 quid.
£239. And that's because it's just classed as a hybrid. It's not classed as a 7 hybrid. So, Bob, I've just seen 269 they are. That's a lot, innit? That's a lot, if you know what I mean. But right, so initially it looks very strange. It looks incredibly lofted. It's got that lovely carbon fly wrap on it. How far would you anticipate this club to go? There's a big lake in front of us, and initially that's the exact shot I'd be hoping to hit. You can see just how easy that was to launch. You can see it's bang next to the post which we are aiming for here, and I actually hit that a little bit heely. So basically what this hybrid does is, because it has so much loft on it, as you can see probably better from that angle there, and we have an adjustable sleeve, which is big news as well. We have a big heavy weight at the back here, so CG's pushed to the back and low, which means it's going to be pretty forgiving. Together with that face wrap, how consistent can this club be? Because from a tee box here, I think it's not really a club a lot of people would use, but it's certainly a club a lot of people should potentially use. Now, what I'm really pleased with here is not only that they're within probably 5 to 10 yards of each other, left to right dispersion, and they've gone exactly the same distance, it's the feel and the sound that this thing's just given me on those 2 shots. I actually compressed that second shot really nicely. And one of the things that I couldn't believe when I tested the 2-iron version of this hybrid was how good it felt, how good it sounded. Ping, for me, have never made that club. They're not that guy, but maybe they are now. So let's see if we can hit another nice consistent one. Seeing this divot we've just took here, Bob, absolutely gorgeous looking divot with this little kind of 7 hybrid. So you can play different shots with it. I'm not going to try and play one down over the lake, because we've not brought that many golf balls with us today, have we, Bob? But we're looking for consistency. Could it be the club for those kind of pesky par 3s? Oh, look at that. I think that's going to be bang in the middle of those others, is it? Now that, and I'll zoom in now on my phone and show you exactly where they finished from here, because I think that's incredible, but it ain't cheap. Can we just say how close together these shots are, by the way? That is absolutely incredible. So we know it's forgiving. We know it's okay for that kind of tee shot over the water. It could really help you, to be honest, but is it versatile? Because at 34 degrees of loft, yes, with a movable loft sleeve, which I think Ping have to have on this because of that obviously price point, can we flight this down a little bit into that flag? We've got 150 yards. What? Bobby's not thinking, you're not up for it? Are you when I'm going to hit that post? I'm not going to hit the post. Just, you know, like that kind of shot where it's flighted. I mean, that's gone long. No, it hasn't. Yeah, it has. But the fact you can get that ball fly of, look at that. And I think if you get a club, that is unreal, isn't it? That's spun back as well. But if you get a club like this and you can learn how to use it with turf interaction, and maybe you put loft on it, maybe you take loft off, but look how easy it's making these shots, because I've got no right to play that ball flight, have I? Not really, not to that flag. So essentially, yes, it's forgiving, yes, it's versatile, it's doing what I want it to do. How does it perform compared to last year's model? And what's the big secret weapon why this could be in your bag and my bag and Brett's bag? Let's discuss the numbers first. Now we actually have last year's G437 hybrid to compare to as well. So let's kick things off with that and just see how much ping have potentially come on with these clubs. I honestly think a lofted hybrid like this can be used for so much on the golf course, as you've already seen in today's video, but let's just talk some numbers to see. So it's 34 degrees of loft, just like this year's, and let's just send just some nice shots. So what I'm looking for here is a nice easy shot to launch. I don't really know distance wise, that one's gone 155 yards. So what you'll find is this is a club where you will find your distance with it. You'll know how far it goes, and because of its ease of use, because of obviously how far back the CG is pushed and how big the head is and how long the shaft is, it should be quite consistent for you, as well as obviously that 34 degrees of loft. You can see that one's gone a little bit lower and a little bit left. They do have a little bit of offset on them, these clubs, but it's going exactly the same yardage there. So 157 carry, releasing up by 10 yards. Now I'm really hoping, and the reason why I've included this old club as a little bit of a Brucey bonus for you in today's video is because, to be honest, I think the G440 hybrid in total is the best club of the year. It sounds phenomenal, it feels fantastic, it goes well. So have they changed it when it comes to these higher lofted clubs as well? That's the shot that I kind of anticipate. Nice high spin, going a little bit left for me, but I don't particularly mind that. And again, it's a 153 carry. So we've got a real nice front to back window there. I'm not going to spend too long on this older version because I did review this last year. We'll go one more. And that's the shot you want, almost off the screen with how high it's gone. Plenty of spin on there. It's dropped off a little bit. That's just releasing up to kind of 145. So that one's dropped off a bit. You can see we have spread where we're kind of striking it there as well. So this G430 version had the carbon fly wrap. You can see we've got that lovely carbon crown. And the weight actually pushes back more towards the heel than it does straight back. That for me is one of the big differences when we start to look at the new version, the G440. That is more central there, as you can see. We still have the face wrap. We still have that lovely carbon fly wrap without the yellow details. I actually think there, I think this on the driver as well, I thought it was cracked initially. I thought I'd broken it, and we've not cracked it, Bob, have we? Not quite yet, but what do we get? Do we get anything different? Do we get any more consistency maybe? The head looks good. Certainly has that better, stronger feel as well. When we tested the 2 version of this, so the 2 hybrid, it's a nice number, 156, very, very consistent. The straightest shot that we have hit, but when I tested the 2 hybrid in this, I was amazed at how it felt, how it sounded, and the kind of flight we got. First shot we've hit with this one, a little bit out the heel, it seems to have performed pretty well for us. So that's nice that it's gone nice and straight. That sounds, it's amazing how 2 clubs with very similar characteristics can sound so different. 157, 6,500 spin. It's doing all that stuff I want it to do for me. Like I said, whoever goes and buys one of these clubs, I personally think the higher lofted ones may struggle to sell because a lot of golfers won't admit that they should be using one of these in different scenarios. Like I said, I don't necessarily think they're for everybody, but I think everyone could benefit from them. Does that make sense? It does, good. It's not just me losing my mind. Right, 2 pretty consistent shots there. And that's that really high one. That's a little bit high out the face. I'd expect that to be shorter, just like the first one was. And it is, it's exactly the same. As soon as you catch this high on the face, then you do start to kind of struggle to control the launch a little bit, which you can anticipate from a club that has that kind of rear weighting and has 34 degrees of loft, like we've said. Very pleased with this though. I don't think it's a different world away from the G430, but I certainly feel like it's doing what I want it to do from that kind of 150, 160 range. And if you struggle from that range, this could really be a club for you. Say if you have a couple of par 3s at this distance, if you have those occasional par 5s or even par 4s where you're just left with that yardage that you don't particularly like, this high lofted hybrid could be one for you. Look at that go. Look at that go. It's coming down like that. Wow. So I mentioned earlier about those potential pesky par 3s, those distances that maybe you just don't like. So we have a 150-yard par 3 here. We're into a little bit of wind, so if this club's going to be a club that's seriously a contender to be in your bag, it's probably going to have to perform on some of these holes. Let's see just what kind of shots we can play in. There's a tough flag to get at, but just a nice little fade on the wind should potentially work. Stay there. It's a lovely high flighted shot, isn't it? Can that hang on? I think that's actually gone long, you know. I think distance-wise, it is very, very consistent and it's very, very good. It seems to be doing what you want it to do. Let's have another go. Aim a little bit further left. It is easy just to slide in left to right, like this. Watch this now. The shot shape consistency has been really good. And that's middle of the green, isn't it? That's absolutely everything that I want it to do. I think the thing that Ping have done really well with this is there's not loads of offset on there. It doesn't seem to be an anti-slice club, which lots of clubs which are designed to make golf easier for people and get the ball launching seem to just have that element of offset. This doesn't have that, and that all of a sudden is a really, really good shot. I can tell by the divot, I've just moved across it nicely. Can we play it down? Let's move it back in the stance and try that one. Look at that, Bob. And that's on the green as well. So realistically, is it doing everything I would want it to do for me? Yes. It's easy to hit, it's forgiving, it's consistent for distance, and I can flight it down if I want to. Very similar to the 11 hybrids, which could be the issue for this thing, because 11 hybrids like a third of the price. You could get 3 of them, which kind of goes back to the initial point of the video, doesn't it? So, such as somewhere like this. So this should be quite a simple shot, a very simple chip. You can't really put it because we've still got a bit of uneven ground to go over. So you need a little bit of loft. Now obviously 34 degrees of loft is realistically, it's like an 8-iron, isn't it? Most 7-irons are around 30 to 31 now. But if you use a 7-iron, it's still got that really thick leading edge. This essentially has loads of bounce on it. So it's almost impossible. You see the flag? It's almost impossible to duff it. It does come out fiery. It's something you need to practice, as you've seen there. But just like a little, just little dinkers. And all of a sudden, and I said Brett jokingly, but if you had this club in your bag, obviously it's going to come out a little bit kind of higher because of that static loft. But because a 2 here would like just go too far, too hybrid. But having this loft here, you can just, you don't even like need to get a good strike on it. And all you need to do is practice, and I've hit 3 shots there and then all of a sudden I've hit one exactly flag high. That could probably save you more shots than the shots from 140, 150, 160 yards. Guys, would you pay over £200 for this club? Get in the comments below and let me know. Thank you so much for your time as always, and I'll see you at exactly the same time tomorrow. Cheers, Bobby.